Glossary. Ahimsa, non-harming. Atma Kalyan, Atma equals soul, Kalyan equals well-being, auspicious. Brahman, a member of the Hindu priestly caste. Dipa is a lamp. Ganadhar, the first Muni monk disciples of a Tirthankar. Karmas, action and reaction, a form of matter. Kartik, the 8th month of the Indian calendar. Keval Gnan, infinite knowledge, omniscience. Moksha, salvation, emancipation from the cycle of birth and death. Prabhu, Lord, illuminated. Tirthankar, builder of the ford, the omniscient religious teachers of the Jain path and practice. Key participants: Lord Mahāvīra, name given at birth Vardhaman, given epithet Mahavira due to demonstrations of courage at young age, given epithet Lord Bhagwan due to attaining Lord over attachment and master of equanimity. Gautam, a chief disciple of Lord Mahavira, a former Brahmin scholar, formal name Indrabhuti Gautama. Narrator, a Jain Muni, the recorder and administrator of the Recount. Scene 1. Setting. A Jain Muni is sitting in a tranquil forest clearing. He is writing. Looking closely, we can see he has recorded the events which occurred that resulted in the celebration known as Dipāvalī, Festival of Lamps. Muniji has made this account so that the true meaning and message of Dipāvalī will be known for future generations. He has crafted his record in the form of a drama so that the events can be presented as part of the annual Dipāvalī celebration. As the recorder, the Muni assumes the role of the narrator. Muniji's drama has 11 scenes. The drama begins. Scene 2. Narrator speaks. The location of our drama is at Pavapuri, in the present state of Bihar, in northeastern India. The time is just before and after the moksha of Lord Mahavira. Stage setting: inside a decorated room, sitting on a religious platform with various people, for example, King Hastapal, sitting and standing around Lord Mahavira, listening and bowing to him. Scene 2. Narrator speaks. During the 42nd year of his life as Tirthankar, Lord Mahavira came to the assembly hall of King Hastapal of Pavapuri at his request. Lord Mahavira's discourses were in the common man's language. Great people like emperors, kings and queens, merchants, scholars and philosophers, and the common masses, including laborers, males and females of every caste and creed, listened to his discourses and took vows to follow the path of Atma Kalyan, Ahimsa, truth, and good conduct. Scene 3. Lord Mahavira addresses the audience. Worthy ones, uncontrolled desire and craving for worldly pleasures are the causes of all misery. If you want peace, control your desires. Develop equanimity and inner peace, and adopt equality and fraternity in your behavior with all beings. Scene 4. Narrator speaks. One day, when Lord Mahavira realized that the last moments of his life were approaching, he thought, Lord Mahavira, I am going to be liberated soon from the cycle of rebirth. My disciple, Gautam, loves me very much. He will not be able to tolerate the shock of separation when I attain moksha. Scene 5. Narrator speaks. Lord Mahavira called Gautam and gave some insightful, cautioning words. Lord Mahavira speaking to Gautam. As the dry fallow leaf of the tree falls to the ground when its days are gone, even so the life of men will come to its end. Gautam, be careful all the while. As a dewdrop clinging to the top of a blade of thin kush grass lasts but a short time, even so the life of men. Gautam, be careful all the while. You have crossed the great ocean. Why do you halt so near the shore? Make haste to attain the other side. Gautam, be careful all the while. Going through the same religious practices as perfected saints, you will reach the world of perfection, where there is safety and perfect happiness. Gautam, be careful all the while. Scene 6. Narrator speaks. Then Lord Mahavira requested Gautam. Lord Mahavira speaking to Gautam. Go to the neighboring village for preaching to Brahman Dev Sharma. Narrator speaks. Following the instructions, Gautam left. Scene 7. Narrator speaks. On the 14th day of the dark half of the month of Kartik, after a 2-day fast, Lord Mahavira started his last discourse. It continued uninterrupted for 48 hours. After this discourse, many individuals took various vows. Scene 7. Narrator speaks. On the 15th day of the dark half of the month of Kartik, in the evening, a divine glow leaped up from Lord Mahavira's body and disappeared in the infinite space. For a moment, the whole world went dark. Dipāvalī, Festival of Lamps, Origin Recount. Scene 7, Narrator speaks. It was a moonless night when Lord Mahavira attained moksha. At that time, it is said that even the gods were affected by such a feat. Gods tried to dispel the darkness with the help of gems, burning candles, and by lighting lamps called dipas. They said, now that the internal light of knowledge is gone, let us make an illumination with the external light of matter. This was the beginning of Dipāvalī, Festival of Lamps. Scene 8. Narrator speaks. When Gautam came to know of the moksha of Lord Mahavira, he started crying like a child. Gautam speaks. O Prabhu, what did you do to me? You allowed me to remain with you during your life, and at the last moment you sent me away. It is true that you are above the feelings of love and attachment. Narrator speaks. After some time, Gautam composed himself. Gautam speaks. Oh, in fact, Prabhu sent me away in order to break the shackles of my attachment with him. Narrator speaks. Lost in these contemplations, Gautam transcended into deep meditation. By morning he had shed all of the destructive karmas and attained Keval Gnan. Narrator speaks. On the first day of the bright half of the month of Kartik, the masses jointly celebrated the moksha of Lord Mahavira and the attaining Keval Gnan by Ganadhar Gautam. Scene 9. Narrator speaks. Thus Lord Mahavira, the master of Atma Kalyan, the great apostle of Ahimsa, the benefactor of mankind, and the friend of all living beings, ended his bodily existence, attaining moksha on the banks of a lotus pond outside the town Pavapuri, a little before dawn in the year 527 BC. Narrator speaks. The auspicious occasion is celebrated to this day as the Dipāvalī festival of lamps, symbolizing the perpetuation and universalization of the Master's truth-revealing and soul-illuminating light of knowledge when he was no more alive. Scene 10. Muni narrator speaks. Dipāvalī is the occasion for Jains to celebrate and reflect upon the attainment of liberation of the soul of Lord Mahāvīra from the continuous cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. Scene 11. Muni narrator speaks. This recount of the origin of Dipāvalī is brief and simple, and further reflection illuminates additional knowledge of the Jain tradition that assists in following the example of Lord Mahāvīra toward moksha, liberation. The additional knowledge contained herein is presented in Part 2, Meaning and Purpose.
Om Jai Mahāvīra Prabhu, Swami Jai Mahāvīra Prabhu. Om Jai Mahāvīra Prabhu. Om Jai Mahāvīra Prabhu, Swami Jai Mahāvīra Prabhu. Om Jai Mahāvīra Prabhu. Om Jai Mahāvīra Prabhu.
Namaste. I bow to your eternal energy with consciousness soul, the real you.